So what I'm doing here is I am taking and making a copy of the Inflictor Rifle. So I double click and open up the Inflictor Rifle icon, and I've got to go in and edit the name of the base copy and then save it to a new form so that I don't mess up the original copy. I don't want to mess up the original copy. I want to have my own copy. And so I'm changing it from being just Inflictor to being a Traveler's Inflictor. And the whole point is to make it where it's already got the options that I would need to have weaponsmithing for and leveled up to be able to add these other options. I want to already have those options on it. It just makes it easier, more convenient for me. I always mod that up anyway, so might as well just go ahead and create one that's already modded. Basically, what I do is you go in and you open the icon, you change the name, and then you also have to change the name of both the form and of the item. So under the general tab will be the name of the item. And then you go over to the mod tab and you'll see all the mods that are there, and you remove the mods that are the default mods with none as the value, and put in the mods that you want that have the recon laser sight, recon scope, amplifier, all of these features that you want to have. So you put those mods in. And the reason I had to go from the Inflictor model, base model, is because it got the update in Armada, and the update didn't happen on anything that was not a standard item. And it didn't actually happen on every single item. There were some things like the Negotiator and other weapons that didn't get any benefit of having a fourth legendary and so forth. But by copying from the Inflictor to a new name, and I get all the benefits of being able to do an upgrade to it, and be able to also have that fourth legendary slot. So I go in and I make all of those updates and then save it and place it, remove the old one, and then go in here and replace it. I'm checking these boxes because I think it seems like I remembered I might have stuck one in there, and it was checking to make sure I didn't need to do one that was in the box. Plus, I wanted to make sure that the box had ammo in it. It's not very useful if you pick it up and don't have ammo. But aside from all of that, I I had trouble when I went in and tested this with the ship not landing, the Frontier. Apparently, my place ship, not the one in the background, but the newest one, is maybe too close to the landing pad, and it wants to sit on the Frontier's landing pad, so the Frontier can't land, and it breaks the ability to progress the game. So I'll have to go back in and move that. But I'm not messing with that now. So I step out so that I can drop this on the ground, and I do a help for Traveler 4 so that I can get all the data that I need, and it'll look up inside its own database inside the game for Traveler, and there it shows you Traveler's Inflictor's Rifle. That's the one I created, and its number is 514E6FA. So I'll do a player add item of that number and pull one out of the ether. And there I've got one. So now I will take that and pull it out. So basically it's got all the features that I wanted already default. So I already have all those features. But I can mod it some more from here and do a little bit of ground magic. And so I go ahead and I drop that on the ground. And open up the console prompt, and then you click on the weapon and it'll give you the weapon ID there, FF0FC-E80 and .AMOD. And then the first thing that we're going to do there is we're going to go ahead and we're going to put in the first 3 legendaries. I think that's what I'm doing here. FFA, yeah, FFA 3B, that's magazine increase. Yeah, extended magazine. and then I'll do an FEA 04, which is rapid. Rapid. And then I'm going to do shattering, which is F4557. And then we got our first 3. So now we can go get our 4th one, because we have to have those 3 to get the 4th down. Pick that up, and we're going to run inside with it and go put it on the workbench. This is why I like to have my workshop on the first level close to the doors, because I'm always running in and out, and I don't have to run from one end of the ship to the next. Alright, so it's got everything it needs there. We're going to scan it. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, that's it. That's the one we just made. And it says Traveler's Inflictor in it. Okay, so change the skin. Put the upgrade in it. I always do ammo capacities. Since I can push the damage up, it doesn't make any sense to do anything other than to give myself more ammo. Okay. Number magic. Now we're going to go ahead and push the damage up on that. That's what the 28F445 is. That's actually, there's several different damage numbers that you can have that will increase the damage, but there's one number that seems to work pretty universally for everything except an EM value, and the EM values don't really change. They kind of got a lockout on them. But the 28F445 will, every time you bump that, it just multiplies. I think that number might be associated with as you level, your weapon damage gets higher, and it works to what I would think that number is acting like maybe you're leveling, and so your damage increases because you're a higher level now. That's what I think that number might be associated with, but I haven't found any information that actually proves that. It just acts that way. So we're going to go ahead and just bump that. Basically, I'm just demonstrating here that every time you hit that number, you see that physical damage and energy damage value increase. And you go ahead and do it a bunch. Usually I do it about 25 to 50 times, depending on whether it's something that I've modded the damage value on or not. My perspective is that it needs to be dangerous. It needs to. There's nothing more annoying to me than to have a 50-round magazine that you have to shoot 3 magazines of something and bring them down to 75% health. That's just stupid. It's a gamification to me that annoys me. It's not something I enjoy. Other people enjoy that. I don't. I just don't like that kind of mechanic. But I'm a gun person. I own firearms. I've got a CCW, and I've been around guns all my life. So it just, if the bullet does not work, does not do the damage on one bullet, you've got the wrong bullet. And so with gamification, it's a clash that my thought processes and what I identify with and am used to doesn't work. With gamification, I can't enjoy a game when the game does those kind of mechanics. That just that breaks my brain. So I push that damage, and the NPCs have the same damage capability. You can pick up their weapons, and they'll have their damages increased. So I've got to be careful too, because they're shooting back at me with stuff that, you know, one or two hits with even with good armor, and I'm down. So I've got to beat them to the draw, and or approach them at range. So here we're doing a star shard, and there's actually some variations in codes. Things kind of change between what's in the creation kit and some of the updates. I'm not sure exactly what all changes and why, but you can also do some mix and matching with some of the parts for, or the numbers for parts for other of the weapon items, and change the look. And so what I'm doing here is I'm adding things that I like the look better of, and adding functionality. So I build my base weapon to give me the best delivery or the performance that I prefer, and then I'll put a recon laser sight on it that I think looks better than the one that is the one that's normal for it. But it's still one that's assigned to it, and it actually fits it right. And the star shard is not something that gets to have a scope by default. You can have iron sights on it, you can have a reflex sight on it, but they don't give you the option of having a scope, and that annoys me. I like to be able to have accuracy, and fortunately the scope that works on the 2311 also matches the artwork and positioning to work on the star shard. So that's a 87532. And it's easy enough number to remember. 8 7. That's, you know, increment one down. 8, then 7, then 6 5 4 3. But it's 8 7 5. So you start at 8 and you go to 7, and the second number less is 2 less than 8. Right? 8 minus 2 is 6. So you don't have 6, it's the next number. So it's 8 7 5, and then 3 and 2 equal 5. I don't know, that might work for you, it might not work for you. It's how I remember it. 87532 is the short scope for the 2311 that will fit on this pistol. And what I'm doing now is I'm just forcing the damage stat up on this. It's a plasma rifle in the 80 gigawatt range. I mean, hey, this is the future. So you should be able to one-shot things with it. So I set this thing up so that basically you can. It's a slow recharge, so that if you try to rapid fire with it, you find yourself at a real disadvantage, and if you got bad sights on it, it just becomes a weapon that's not usable. But you put a good set of sights on it, and you get its speed up, and then you make each hit actually do significant damage, and it becomes a weapon that's actually pretty fun to use. And so, you know, rather than it not be something I'd never pick up or use, it's now something that I will carry and enjoy. All right, that is the standard laser sight that's on it, and it's underneath, but you can't see any graphic for it. It's just kind of buried there, which is fine, that works. But the sight that I'm going to put on it is actually a sight that the number is in the creation kit. And it says that that's the sight for it, or the laser sight for it, but it looks different, and it's not what you get when you hit your go to the workbench and add laser sight. So I mean, the default from the workbench looks different from the one that's actually in the creation kit. So now then we've got the one, oh, I'm still pumping the damage there. Okay, I just added the scope. That was the 87532. Yeah, so I show it right there. So you need to go back and try to remember that. If you do this like I do it, you'll do these numbers so many times you memorize them, which is one of the reasons why I actually just play the game is just keeping my mind active. So every time you drop it on the ground, the weapon ID number is subject to changing, probably will change. Okay, so now I'm going to show you the actual number that you want to use if you want to use this particular one. That's the laser that it's got is a laser that you will get if you put it on the workbench. This number, this 134 number, 1341F0, is the one that puts this other graphic on it. See that graphic? See how it's under the barrel now? I think that looks better. I like that one. But you have to apply that one manually. Yet that's the one that's in the creation kit for it. Looks good too, I think. I think the artwork is really good. I really like the I like their assets. Okay, what am I looking up here? You can find all this stuff. The IGN website that came out when Starfield was launched, you can just do a search for IGN console codes for Starfield. Okay, amplifier. Now, if you'll notice, this is something that's interesting, is that something has changed from my original list of numbers, and I think it changed during Armada, that when they made some updates, they may have had some number changes, because I had some things that were prefixed with the 1 that didn't work anymore. You just put a 2 where the 1 was, and they started working again, and that was with Armada. And part of that probably has to do with load order. I hadn't noticed it until I had to go in and make a change and recheck my load order, and in doing that, some things surfaced. So what's going to happen here is that you're going to see I will apply the amplifier, one number with the amplifier, and I will add that, but then we're going to see this change where I have amplifier in there twice. And so with amplifier being in there twice, I change one of them to be the rapid fire, losing track of what it's called right now, but it's the trigger speed that makes it faster. This is some of the weird stuff that happens. To me, that's all an indication that they're kind of weird with their coding. Okay, so standard magazine, Annihilator rounds. That should be right. All right, so the number that the workbench is using for amplifier for the internal is now a different number apparently than the number that was original that is in the creation kit that comes up under my mods in my load order. And so I put the original number in and got amplifier and went to the workbench, and the workbench didn't identify that that was there because it's using a different number now. So instead of having two iterations of amplifier, I made one of them the overclocked. Benefit of them changing the number, I guess. I don't know.